how's it going, you guys? I am happy to be back with another video. My kids are fighting upstairs, so you will probably hear a lot of that going on right now. But anyways, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys had an amazing weekend. My son's birthday is tomorrow, and being the awesome mom I am, I totally thought it was next week. So I will be super busy this Saturday. But anyways, I am going to bring you some Dollar Tree DIYs, and we are going to focus on using the Dollar Tree calendars to create these DIYs. So if you haven't seen, Dollar Tree is killing it with calendars this year. They have the farmers market. They have some florals. They're stunning. If you haven't seen them, go back to my huge Dollar Tree haul, and I picked up a bunch of them. So with that said, I'm super excited to do these. They are so fun, somewhat farmhouse chic. I don't know, they'll go with anything. So let's go ahead and get into our crafts. Our first DIY is going to be our Simply Blessed Memo board. Isn't she lovely? I cannot wait to show you guys how I made this. So we're going to use a cookie sheet, our calendar, some chalk paints, some brushes. You need some chalkboard paint, and you can use like the nautical rope from Dollar Tree, and then a clothespin. So we're going to take that off, clean it up, and I am starting right away with the plaster chalk paint. Now I am painting the top half of this with this plaster chalk paint so that I don't have the numbers showing through on the back of the calendar. I end up realizing, how far do I need to go down before I stop, because I'm going to use the chalk paint on the bottom. So all I do is measure the image that I'm going to use from the calendar. I figured out how long it is, and now I'm going to kind of mark that off on my cookie sheet so I know how far down to go with my chalk paint. And then we're going to go ahead and finish painting her up. Sorry, you guys, my kids are running around like crazy upstairs if you hear all of the thumping going on. You're going to go ahead and finish her up and wait for that to dry. And then we're going to go in with our Dollar Tree chalk paint, which I've said it before. This stuff is good, you guys. It is very black. I love it. You can write on it well. It doesn't like stain. I do switch up my brush for the second coat because the foam brush was it was making it super streaky. So I wanted more of an even, like smooth chalkboard. So that's what I did. So here I'm on the back, I'm mixing plaster and I think moss, and it gives me like a celery, I think that's what it's called in Waverly, chalk paint like color. And I'm painting the back on the sides because when I hang it up, I know those sides are going to show. So I'm not painting the entire back, just these sides that will be shown on there. And it's just a rough paint job. Now I'm going to do the front. The inside of the sides, it's okay if you get it on the white chalk paint because we are going to be covering that up with our image, but you do have to be a little bit more careful once you get over to your chalk paint area. You could tape your chalk paint area off if you want to, if you're not, very neat. So I just went a little bit slower as I got to the chalk paint or chalkboard part. And then I used a smaller brush towards the end to get like really close to the bottom edge. But we're going to be covering the edges up anyways with our nautical rope. So don't get crazy about it, okay? All right? Okay, good. And see how I'm getting in with like the detailed brush and kind of just making sure that none of my silver's showing up there. I've been saying a lot, geez. Okay. So Mama can't afford to waste paint. So I have these little containers from the Dollar Tree and I just scoop up all my paint and put them in there. I don't like to waste anything. I will save everything. My husband, he probably doesn't like that, but we don't waste over in this house. So we're going to keep that handmade celery color paint, and we will save it for later because I'm sure I will use it on another project. And I'll show you what the container looks like. It kind of breaks in like pretty fast though. There you go. And it comes in like a 6-pack. Okay, so now we're gonna measure our image. I know for sure that I want the length of it. I want the whole image. And then I measure across my chalkboard from the inside to see how wide I can keep my image. So luckily I get to keep the whole image. It's perfect size. So I'm gonna mark those points off because we are gonna take our page off and we are going to cut our image to fit our cookie sheet. So I'm using a rotary blade. You guys, that's like scissors on a wheel. It's pretty awesome. These are Fiskars. You could get them at any craft store. And I'm using my ruler and, as I always do, my measuring mat. I swear, I use it for everything. And we're just gonna get nice clean lines on that. We wanna cut our little hole off on the top. And the corners are rounded, so I do cut the corners off so it fits. And then she was kind of bowing up, so I cut a little bit more off because if it bows up a little bit, then it's just going to like have a big bubble under it from the Mod Podge. So you guys, I tape off the chalkboard paint because I don't want to get Mod Podge all over the chalkboard part of our sign. And when I do this, I realize once I put my paper up that, oh, there's chalkboard. So I just paint over it. So you guys have seen me use Mod Podge a million times. I paint the cookie sheet, paint the paper, paint it, Mod Podge it, whatever. And then I'm gonna lay it on my cookie sheet and get all of our bubbles and excess Mod Podge out. You can do that by getting a debit card, a library card, and just lightly pressing over it to get all of those bubbles out. If it does end up wrinkly, who cares? It just looks more rustic. So don't stress about it at all. You guys, that brush I use for the Mod Podge is like a synthetic brush. I got it from Walmart in a pack of 3. Amazing, amazing brushes. I love them. And now I'm just Mod Podging the frame because why not? Extra security for lasting longer. Our line turned out super crisp and awesome. Now I'm going to call it nautical rope. It is from Home Depot, so it's not the Dollar Tree version, but I liked how thin this one was, so that's why I chose to use it. It's actually called, let me dig in my trash, Sisal rope by Hallmaster. It's 1/4 inch. And we're going to follow that around. Make sure to press good in those corners so you don't have your rope popping out. Okay, so I decided to do my rope this way because I was like, I don't want a bunch of like seams. So I was like, I'll just wrap it around. I'll bring it this way. Well, guess what I got? I got 2 seams instead of 1 seam. So, oh, you girl, a hot mess. And you don't even have to do it like this. You could just loop it all the way around and then put like a bow or something where your rope comes together. But me, I gotta be extra. So I got these gold thumbtacks from Dollar Tree, and I'm bending the tack part of it up and kind of wedging it in that rope. That way it's covering like where the 2 pieces of rope meet, and it adds a little bit more kind of like decoration to it. And your girl loves her some gold, okay? So I liked it. So I added that to both sides of it. See, isn't it cute? Like it just adds a little something more to it. I like it. And then now we're just gonna add some of our rope to the back. I'm just using the sides as my marker point to get a nice even hang. I guess it doesn't really matter when you're hanging like this because all you gotta do is kind of like inch it over, inch it over, inch it over. It'll eventually get straight, you know? But I put some healthy coats of hot glue on these and then smother the top of them with it too. And then let that dry. And then we are going to get our clothespin now. And I'm taking the antique wax. This stuff is really great from Waverly for smaller projects. If I'm doing bigger, I always go to my actual wood stain. But you'll see me use it again in this video, so it is great for smaller projects and for antiquing, hence antique wax. Make sure to get the insides and then like open it up, or I'm just like OCD and I'm like, well, you might as well do it all, so you know, whatever. To each their own. Okay, all right, you done. Okay, so now we're gonna hot glue that girl to the side because she is gonna hold our chalk for us. Yes, you are so cute. Oh, dogs, don't you start while I'm doing this. Okay, here she is. She's on. She's wonderful. She's beautiful as usual, and I love her. Look at how easy that was. And I debated adding bows and all that stuff, but I was like, just like the sign says, simply blessed. Just let's keep it simple. And I feel like this whole video, I'm keeping it pretty simple. I say that in the next videos, like, geez. Okay, you guys, don't do what I do and write on chalkboards right away. You should always season your chalkboard, always. And I will show you what I mean by season your chalkboard. Anytime you get a new one, anytime you make one, you see how I'm rubbing the chalk on there? You should always do that first, because if you don't, your words will stain your chalkboard. So I wrote hello first. When I wiped it off, hello was still slightly on there. Chalkboard and chalk paint is very porous and it just sucks everything in. That's why like chalk pens are really hard to use on chalkboards, because the chalkboard just sucks up the pen. So yeah, just you learn something new every day. So maybe if you didn't know that. DIY 2, you're enough interchangeable flower sign. Look at how cute she is. Everly picked out the image, so you can thank her for how beautiful it is. These are all the supplies we're going to be using. I will go over them. We're not going to use that apple. I just keep my wire in there. So, all right, let's get started. Pizza pan. Guess what chalk paint we're using? Plaster. All right, we're just going fast over it because it's kind of look rustic. I want it to look kind of like wood. So just painting it on the front. I'm not doing the back because the back edges do not even show on this one. And then I'm going to let that dry with my heat gun. You guys, if you use your heat gun, don't go too close, because keep in mind, this is Dollar Tree and it will buckle. So now I'm taking my antique wax and I'm dabbing it on like these are like doggy pads, you guys. They're awesome for crafting, let me tell you. So I dab it on there, and then whatever excess is still like on the pad, I pick it up and then just keep using it. And I get kind of like a wood finish with this, and I love it. It looks so good and it's so easy. Like, it takes seconds, and chalk paint dries so fast. And then I got Mod Podge. I figured, let's put some on. It'll protect it. So this is one of those like grease splatter shield things. I don't know what they're called, but they are perfect whenever you are working with pizza pans. You can trace this with a pen and cut it out with scissors too. You don't need this rotary blade. Just trace it up, cut it out. There's our image. Voila. So easy. It took me forever to find one of those lids at the Dollar Tree. So our hole, we have to cover up our hole. So what I do is I take a scrap piece that has the same color flower on it. I'm going to cut that up, and then I'm going to get some tape. We're going to put it on the back of it right where that hole is. And then you will see that it looks like it was never there at all. So this technique works perfectly if you want to cover up those holes, but you don't want to cut off the top. So you see, you can't even tell where it was. Okay, sorry. This is the spray adhesive, and it's my first time using it. To say I went heavy-handed would be an understatement, because I like doused. Look at this. I doused this thing. It was like I was putting sunblock on my milky white skin, girl, because Mama didn't need to do that. All right. This was my first time though. So I laid the image on there and I start scraping it like I do with my Mod Podge. You guys, this stuff is so liquidy that I was like, there is so much liquid coming out that I'm like, dude, this isn't going to work. So I needed to grab a towel to absorb some of it because there was just so much. And I don't know how much you're supposed to use. It said like apply a good amount, put your image on within 15 seconds if you want it to be permanent. I'll have to try it again with a little less, just a little less, okay? But I think too, I could have just used the towel from the get-go because it's not ripping the paper or anything when I'm rubbing on it. See that? Like it's not even ripping it. So maybe that would have been the right way of doing it. I don't know. It also gave it like a wet look, which I really didn't mind at all. Now, you guys have probably seen this in a million pizza pan videos. We are taking our nautical rope, and this is from Dollar Tree, and we're going to wrap it around twice. And I don't really know why I'm burning the edges because I don't do that with the rest of them. But I do put hot glue on the tip just to keep it from unraveling. So that might be something you want to do. I am going to take you through, just in case this is your first rodeo. I am just gluing this to the side, wrapping it around. I am going to go around twice because you can see at the bottom there wasn't much paper to cover that. So we will need to go around twice with this in order to cover that. And this is like the older nautical rope, not like the fancy like cream colored one, but I like it. It looks a little bit more rustic. And you guys, at the seam, go in super tight and press hard, just so you don't get like this crazy transition. I tried this Surebonder hot glue thing. Oh my gosh, you guys, that was a hot mess. That's another story. Okay, you guys, this flower process is a hot mess. I am warning you now. Okay, I am really good with gluing down flowers. I am good with like making them for my wood signs because I'm using full bundles with them. I am not good at this wire stuff. You guys, this is just the clips I'm showing you. This took me like 40 minutes to figure out. I could not get these flowers to stay where I wanted them to. I could not get the wire to get tight. I think maybe next time I'll try like the wire tape or something. This was just a hot mess. So I can't really walk you through what I'm doing because y'all, I don't know what I'm doing. I was just trying to make this work. So I put 3 flowers together to start off with like baby eucalyptus. I wired the crap out of them, cut the stems off, and then I wanted this to be a different sign. So I wanted to add magnets. I actually got this idea from Glue Guns and Roses, and she makes like a chalkboard kind of doing this, but her flowers are so much better than mine, you guys. So go check out hers. But I tried my best with this. And it's nice because you can interchange, like you could change out the florals when there's magnets on it. So you don't have to keep it like that. You could start with flowers, and then like a month from now, you could change it up with some lamb's ear, you know, whatever you want. The possibilities are endless. That's why I love to have the magnets on there. So these are just Dollar Tree magnets. I glued them directly on. And then I noticed like, that is a huge hole on the bottom. Like you could totally see up in there. So I add another flower. Do you see how like I'm bending this thing, I'm twisting this thing. I don't know what's going on. I think I lost a portion of my life during this skit right here because I don't remember any of it. Okay. All right. Are you done? Okay. And then for some reason, I kept thinking it needed to be like on the rim of this sign. And then as I'm playing with it, I'm like, oh no, like there's prime retail space right there. Use it, girl. Look at how cute now. Now I love it. Now I'm obsessed. Now I'm like, okay, everything happens for a reason. And I told myself, you are enough, girl. You are enough. You got this. And I did it. I did it. But then I was like, oh yeah, you did it, but you forgot that we might need to hang this at some point. So I'm using my measuring mat again, and I'm trying to get like an even hang on this. You don't have to be exact. You could just kind of eyeball it, guesstimate where you think it should go. And I'm just using the Dollar Tree twine, my Dollar Tree finger protectors. I love Dollar Tree. Okay. Why doesn't Dollar Tree sponsor anyone? They would probably have like a million people they would have need or want to sponsor. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so here she is with, okay, what am I doing? Who knows? I don't know. Super cute. Okay. All right, let's move on. DI number 3, Farmhouse calendar. It's an easy frame sign. Look at that. Look at that. That looks like it was bought in a store. But you know what? It cost me $2. So these size frames, you guys, you need to stock up on them because this is my second time using them, and I do not think it's going to be my last time using them. And let me see. I'm just taking it apart right here. These are the, let me see. It doesn't say the actual size. Dang it. I'm taking this apart, and then we are going to go ahead and paint this Nantucket blue. You guys, I am loving FolkArt chalk paint. Like, Waverly is great, but this FolkArt chalk paint, like the rich black, you only have to use one coat. Like, they are so thick, and I'm just obsessed with them. And the colors are exactly as shown. So I think I'm going to be purchasing a lot more of the FolkArt chalk paints, and you can find it too at a lot of retailers, which is nice because Waverly is only at Walmart. You can't ever find it on the website. So yeah. All right. So now we are going to put our glass in to see where our image is going to be. There is a big gap, and we got that hole on the top. So what I think to do is, you know what? Let's grab some ribbon. I picked a neutral, so we make sure that our image is what stands out. And then I'm going to cut that ribbon in half. And then we're going to end up hot gluing it to the top and covering that hole, but not covering the letters. So make sure you're careful with that. You guys, I will put down in the description box what size this frame is, because it's one of those frames that has a bunch of different like picture holder things in it. So I'll measure it. Oh, you guys, I'm not measuring that right now. Silly. Let's see. It's 11 by 11. There you go. It's 11 by 11. And anytime I see them, I grab them. I love them. So now we're putting our bottom ribbon on, and this fits perfectly in our frame. Make sure to clean your frame up because your grubby, dirty hands have been all over it, and you do not want those smudge marks in there after you put it all together. And now we put it together. You guys, I played around with the bow. I was trying to be extra, but I mean, it really doesn't need anything else. Like, it's beautiful. I love it. You would never know this was from the Dollar Tree, ever. Oh, you guys, how is this video this long? Because I feel like these were so easy. You see, I'm like, oh, let's add something. Let's be extra. But no, it didn't. I didn't need it. Look, I'm still trying. Like, I was convinced that this needed something more for a little bit. And then I'm like, no. So this is how our DIYs turned out, y'all. I hope you love these. If you try them out, please make sure to tag me on Instagram. I would love to see what you guys do or what your versions of these may be. I appreciate y'all so much for watching. My channel is growing because of you guys. I always want to make sure I'm putting out some quality videos. If there are things that you guys particularly want to see, please let me know in comments because I would love to give you what you want. So look at, oh, squirrel. Oh, see how cool that is, you guys? I love that. And this is still hanging up in my kitchen. But anyways, okay, I'm like a squirrel, you guys. I got sidetracked there for a second, looking at all those beautiful things. Okay, so have a great week. This will not be the last video for the week. And I appreciate you guys stopping by. Make sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already. Have a good one. Bye.